Hi, and welcome to Comedy Recapped. Today, we're going to be discussing a 1986 American romantic comedy film titled One Crazy Summer. Watch out, spoilers ahead. The movie begins with a teenage boy named Hoops McCann, making cartoon illustrations for his scholarship application to Rhode Island School of Design. He is, however, interrupted by his mother, who gives him his graduation gown, as it is revealed that he's to have his high school graduation ceremony later that day. During the ceremony, he meets up and has a chat with his friend, George. After which, they drive to pick up George's younger sister, Squid, alongside her dog. The group then heads over to the port to board a boat going to the island of Nantucket, where they intend to spend their summer holiday. On the ride to the port, they stop at a fuel station to get gas. There, they run into a girl named Cassandra, and they help her escape from an angry gang. The gang chases after them on bikes. Fortunately, they manage to get away, as they board a boat just in the nick of time. After a while, they arrive at the island with Cassandra parting with the group after expressing her gratitude for their help. Hoops is then introduced to the Stork twins, Egg and Clay, who are good friends of George's. He has a minor run-in with the Stork twins' boss, Teddy Beckerstead, and his girlfriend, Cookie, when he mistakenly touches Teddy's car. Afterward, the group heads over to George's grandma's house, where they intend to live during their stay. There they meet Frank, George's uncle, a middle-aged man who is obsessed with winning a radio contest. George attempts to initiate a conversation with him, but Frank quickly dismisses him as he goes back to listening to the radio. Later that day, Hoops and George head to the beach where they meet a friend of theirs named Aki. They drive back home but stop on the way when they see Cassandra at a funeral. The following day, Hoops takes Cassandra on a stroll on the beach where she reveals that her grandpa, who was facing some financial difficulties, died. And though he left his house to her, the property would be reclaimed by the bank in a week if the mortgage of $3,000 was not paid. She also explains that the Beckersteads would be pleased with this, as they've been after that house for years. A concerned Hoops tries to cheer her up by drawing a cartoon character of her. This works as she smiles and compliments his art skills. She goes on to ask about the origin of his name, Hoops, and questions if he was good at basketball. He explains that his family has a basketball history and, out of embarrassment, lies to her that he's pretty good too, though he actually sucks at it. She thanks him for lightening her mood as the two end up going their separate ways. The next day, while Hoops and his friends were relaxing on the beach, Cookie approaches him, asking for his help in carrying her boat to the water. With the boat in the water, Cookie invites Hoops to join her, but he refuses as he's scared of the water, although he denies it. A persistent Cookie then presses him to watch a movie with her later that night. Hoops is skeptical, asking her about her boyfriend, but she dismisses him, saying that he's at a reception somewhere. He reluctantly agrees with Cookie, saying that she'd pick him up at 8. Later that day, Hoops meets up with Cassandra, who invites him to attend her first musical gig at a bar that night. He accepts her invitation, promising to be on the front row seat. He, however, fails to honor his promise as he goes on a date with Cookie instead, following his friend's advice. Cookie and Hoops head out to watch a movie in a drive-in where they make out in her car. A friend of Teddy's named Ty spots the duo and calls Teddy, informing him of this. Egg, who is supposed to help keep watch of Teddy at the reception, sees him leave but fails to warn Hoops as he's stuck in a Godzilla costume and wreaks havoc at the reception party. Meanwhile, a distraught Cassandra goes to the bar and gives an emotional performance while staring at a front row table where she pictured Hoops would have sat on. Teddy eventually drives over to meet Cookie and chases after Hoops and his friends. He ends up catching up with them outside the bar where Cassandra performed. As he threatens to beat them up, Cassandra, who thinks that Hoops is a good basketball player, interjects to save the group by challenging Teddy to have a basketball match with Hoops instead. A cocky Teddy accepts the challenge, using Aki as a human basketball ring, and aces all his shots. Hoops, however, flops all of his, making it obvious to Cassandra that he lied on the beach. Teddy then attempts to beat up Hoops once more, but Cassandra stuns him with mace spray as she and Hoops run off. After which he tries apologizing to her, but she walks away, mad at him. The next day, he tries to make it up to her by making creative designs and getting his friends to help promote her next musical performance, which she intends to host so as to raise enough money to pay the mortgage. His efforts impress her, and she ends up forgiving him. The night of her performance arrives, and it turns out to be a massive success, as she makes more than enough money to pay the mortgage. The next morning, she heads to the bank to make the payment, but the banker who was previously bribed by Agila Beckerstead, Teddy's dad, rejects the money, stating that the house has already been sold to the Beckersteads. A defeated Cassandra vacates the house and informs Hoops and his friends of her loss. Hoops refuses to let the Beckersteads win and urges them to fight back. Aki comes up with a plan to win the local regatta, as that would warrant Teddy's grandfather taking away everything Teddy and his dad own, the house inclusive. However, this would be a Herculean task as Teddy has won the regatta every year prior. Aki manages to find an old damaged boat to use for the competition, and with the help of the group, successfully repairs it. The group then gives Hoops a headgear, proclaiming him the captain of the crew, but he refuses the position and walks away as he is scared of the water and of boats. Cassandra follows him and ends up convincing him to lead the crew. Hoops reluctantly agrees as the two share a kiss. The day of the regatta arrives, and the race begins with Teddy and his crew taking an early lead. However, in the middle of the race, Hoops and his crew slowly begin to catch up. Agila, who was stowed away in Teddy's boat, reveals himself and shoots an arrow at Hoops' boat, damaging their mast, hence stalling them. Hoops, however, manages to fix the sail by shooting a new line into the mast and reattaching it. They then continue on their race but are now far behind. Fortunately, they catch up at the engine portion of the race, as they had previously dismantled Teddy's powerful car engine and used it in making their boat, hence giving them an edge. Agila tries to shoot them again but ends up going overboard and getting attacked by a dolphin puppet controlled by Squid. Courtesy of the powerful engine, Hoops and his crew overtake Teddy, winning the race. Hoops lands on shore and is greeted by Cassandra with a warm hug and a kiss. George, on seeing the couple, musters the courage to flirt with Cookie, and the two also share a kiss. Squid also makes it to the shore to find her dog has given birth to a litter of puppies. Hoops then approaches Teddy and bargains exchanging the trophy for Cassandra's house, but Teddy refuses, snatching the trophy and attempting to make a run for it. However, Teddy's grandpa walks by and retrieves the trophy, returning it to Hoops. He then gives them the deed to the house as he compliments Cassandra's singing abilities. The next day, Hoops' experience with Cassandra over the summer thus far gives him the inspiration he needs to finally finish the scholarship application illustration which he had been working on since graduation day. Meanwhile, back in the house, Uncle Frank, who has remained tuned in to the radio after all this time, manages to call the station and wins the cash prize. However, the call line cuts and the prize is given to another caller. A livid Frank snaps as he uses a rocket launcher to destroy the radio station. The movie ends with the Stork twins arriving at the burning station as they run towards it to roast marshmallows. And that's a wrap for One Crazy Summer. Let us know your thoughts on this one in the comments section. If you'd like to look into other movies with us, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Till next time.